And hello, my fellow nerds. This is Oracle Nerd here, and welcome back once again to our Wonderland Remastered Steam release. So last time we got started on Arc 3, and which I believe is the Orlum arc, I think, and we're gonna be continuing the story from where we left off. Once clear the tongue, it's back on the road, which winds up and around, following the river to our right. Ginger tries to wring what he can and of the vicious muck that is of his hat out of his hat as I brush my fingers through the damp ringlets in my hair. Oh, I still feel gross. Even my pores feel clogged. What'd I do for a shower right now? As appearing out ahead of us, a flash of movement catches my eye, and my gaze goes immediately towards the far bank. A dock is erected in the sand, and a boat is slowly gliding its way over in the opposite direction. Gizzo follows my gaze as ice narrows. That's curiously convenient. He's not wrong, but at the same time, no. No, I remember this. The sight of the miniature white riverboat is enough to bring fuzzy, shifting images bubbling in the surface of my brain. Gibbs looks from the boat, then to me, then back to the boat. He opens his mouth, closes it. By the time he opens it a second time, I'm already jogging in the direction of the dock and the boat. Fuck. He clutches his hat and starts after me. I get to the wooden steps of the dock just as the boat comes to a halt on the other end of the pier. Jesus! He gives a hush behind me as he runs to catch up. To the left of the dock is a cheery red and white sign that reads the word Kitty Cruise on it. Past I see the river fork with a right channel leading back along the direction we just come, and the left leading deeper into the unknown. I point towards the boat like some sort of overwrought tour guide. We can take this! Better than walking, that's for sure. You gotta be fucking kidding me. Stay out here and get eaten then, see if I care, I snap. For fuck's sake, Gendo growls. Whatever. I grimace. I can't seem to stop lashing out. The words keep coming out of my mouth before I can stop them. I massage my forehead. I start silently up the stairs. My scent is halted, however, by a jovial, high-pitched voice from the other side of the railing. Come and ride the Kitty Cruise and sail the waves for days. Adventure like you never had it to the end of your malaise. I stop, blinked, and lean over the railing to peek at the ground below. It's a flower. Brilliant white petals adorn its oversized head, its glossy green leaves shimmy with dance-like movements. Genzo steps up the railing next to me, blinking curiously. Weird. The flower twists the top of its roots as though looking up at us. From father's scorn blooms bully's scoff. But the toxicity that you cling to, we'll see you ripen in the through. Read the brow. What's that supposed to mean? Means its cheeky flower's about to get its roots flayed, that's what. Genzo starts climbing up and over the railing. The flower brings its leaves to its chalky yellow gynosium, as though slapping its hands to its cheeks in fright. It recoils against its approach. This gentle flower locked in its earthen cage warrants not the fruits of your misplaced rage. Genzo snorts. I can't help but laugh. It's just a flower again, no need to get so worked up. Says the one not getting ridiculed by it. Just ignore it, come on. Genzo huffs for calms. He readjusts his cap on his head with a cavalier twist and nods once at the flower, then steps back towards the stairs. The flower waggles its leaves, this time turning its head to me. Though with force and fury your long journey may ease, it'll take longer than that for your heart to unfreeze. The flower's words send a spark of electricity straight up my spine. You fucking... I turn with a flash, stomping back down the steps and making a beeline for the flower. Iggy! Genzo manages to grab back my collar before I go homicidal gardener on the poor plant. He pulls me back towards the step of the dock. I let a nurse snort, face red with indignation. Damn, Iggs. What was all that about? What was all that about just ignoring it, huh? Genzo laughs, but I don't miss the anxious thrill just beneath the mirth. You seem a little high-strung. I huff and roll my eyes, but I don't respond. Whatever, let's just get on the boat. I finally grumble and start wandering towards the end of the dock, Genzo finally following hesitantly behind. The boat is still anchored at the end of the dock, almost as though waiting for us. It bobs up and down gently in the current. Looks fine to me. Once again, Genzo looks from the boat to me, then back to the boat. He doesn't say anything. Whatever. I'm not just gonna stand here for hours. I step towards the forwards, tossing a leg over the side and half stumbling into the bottoming boat. Gento reaches out as though wanting to help, but then just as quickly pulls back. He waits for me to sit down on one of the wooden benches before clambering in after me. For a moment, I worried that it might sink with the other combined weight. We're quite a bit larger than we were before the last time we rode, but ultimately holds true. Is there something we need to do to get started? Genzo takes a seat across from me and glances around. Like I remember. Genzo's gaze drops to the deck. Fortunately, we're not left in the dark for long. Only a few seconds later, the water wheel in the back slowly chugs to life. With a shudder, the boat begins to glide across the water. The river is calm, smooth, and, and the boat cuts through the water like butter, slowly but steadily. Once it reaches the fork of the river, it turns left, automatically, taking us further away from our cottage, the rabbits, and that giant eyeball. Genzo's still quiet. He's got his hands shoved in his pockets, and is gazing somewhat morosely at our passing scenery. I scratch my bare arm. I'm starting to calm down again, the heat dripping out of my pores. The gentle sway of the boat is helping, back and forth, slow and smooth. Around the bend, now drifting dreamily past colorful scenery. Knolls of golden degrees slope upwards away from the riverbank, and red and purple trees stretch outward towards the orange sky. Decorating the ground are flowers of all shapes and sizes, cattails, tufts of white cottonweed, all this seemingly untouched, no signs of life to disturb it. When I turn back around, I see Genzo staring at me. I blink. What? He looks away, guilty almost, as though he'd been caught doing something he wasn't supposed to. Guess I'm just still not used to it. Pause. Being able to look at you, I mean. Oh, I simply say. I guess it, must be weird. Yeah, weird. He looks up at the sky, then back to the deck, coughs. And I mean, you know, it's nice, like, seeing how, you turned out. As for me, though, that I could have gone without seeing. I'm ugly as fuck. I mean, wow, I kinda wish I never found that out. I roll my eyes. You're not ugly. Maybe compared to Orlum, I'm sure he really takes the cake. He was ghastly enough as a kid. My anger flares up before I can stop it. I jerk forward with an almost audible snap in my spine. For fuck's sake, would you give him a fucking break? Genzo's eyes go wide, his face flushing. Then his gaze turns sharp. What the hell is wrong with you? It's just Orlum. Just Orlum. Just Orlum. Has it ever occurred to you that Orlum's a person too? That he's one of our friends? And you treat him like shit? Well, sorry, I didn't know you were in love with the guy, for crying out loud. Genzo grinds his teeth. And also, what the fuck? Last I checked, you never cared about him before either. Where was all that, oh, well, was Orlum back when we were kids? I never saw you stand up for him. Person lives to get her heart twisting. It's true. It's fucking true. I was a horrible fucking person. Yeah, well, I wrenched my gaze away. Maybe I'm trying to make up for it. Genzo rolls his eyes. Oh, well, good for you, Mr. Saint. But just because you have an existential crisis about it doesn't mean you have to take it out on me. Oh. Do we say anything about it? Do we say anything about it? I don't know. I generally don't know if we should say anything about this. He tried to off himself. I jumped on my feet before I could stop myself, the moment rocking the entire boat. He tried to off himself again. Genzo stops. His face gone white. He just stares at me. Though not really at me. More like pointing in my direction, but watching something else entirely on the surface of his eyes. Finally, he jerks away. Fuck. Closes his eyes. Opens them. I slump back down, my face in my hands. I hadn't actually meant to say it. Not that... It's not my secret to tell. But it just popped out. Genzo takes his hat off his head, kneading the fabric between his fingers. He looks like he's going to be sick. Stupid fucker. I just barely hear him mutter. He's just staring at the bottom of the boat. We continue in silence, the air heavy in the back and shoulders. I feel the rage in my I feel the rage down in my stomach. Rage at Genzo and myself. It's churning and frothing beneath my diaphragm. Genzo grunts softly. He's looking at something along the right hand bank. What's that? Huh? That sign. I let my gaze follow his. I spy a small wooden signboard where it's collector's territory ahead, painted on in heavy red strokes. Who the fuck knows? I muttered, disinterested. I don't remember this collector guy from before. Well, if he tries anything, I'm gonna tear his fucking head off, I snarl. Genzo flinches and recoils. I just wrap my arms around my chest, staring fiery daggers through the bench in front of me. On and on we glide. On and on, the aura of animosity floats over my head like a cloud. Past tree after tree, bend after bend, even past a strange yellow hillock covered in what happens as slowly smoking trash. Say nothing. Genzo says nothing. Finally, the boat slows to a stop. I look up to see a dock identical to whence we embarked from. Guess this is where we get off, Genzo says suddenly and pushes himself to his feet. I run a hand through my hair, scratching the back of my neck. The hair there is staying straight up for a reason I can't even fathom. I swear, I feel someone watching me the entire way off the boat onto the dock. I shake it off, shrug my shoulders. Genzo has his hands in his pocket and staring down at the wooden planks. I don't say anything as I walk past. Past the dock, the valley of dirt winds itself up, off and away from the river, bordered on either side by more trees. Come on, I finally mutter and start down the path. Genzo falls and steps behind me. Behind us, a set of black tentacles curled around the boat frame slowly sinks back into the water. Oh, that was the collector, wasn't it? I'm not sure how long we walk. 20 minutes, 30, an hour? Time feels strange. Almost as though it's not passing at all. Yeah, when I think back to the college of discovering that hole in the tree, it already feels like a lifetime ago. And strangely disconnected, I started thinking about my apartment, about work, about the party. They all felt fake. Did any of that really happen? Of course it did. That's my life. That's me. I looked down at my hands as though I real an answer to some unspoken question. My mind drifts back to that voice in the tree. What do you want, Iggy? I don't know. I still don't know. I think back to the encounter with the eye. How satisfying it felt to tell that thing off. For some reason, it makes me think of Orlum. Maybe if I'd been able to tell Genzo off like that years ago, things would have never gone so bad. Hell, think of what my own life would have been if I'd had that kind of gall. Not coding websites in a tiny apartment over in Brookside, that's for sure. Not spending my nights falling asleep on the couch and waking up with ice cream stains in my shirt. No, I might have actually accomplished something in my life. Gotten over my insecurities. I forced myself a place where I could actually feel like I meant something. All of a sudden, my footsteps change in timber. I glanced down to see the dirt paths giving way to cobblestone. I stopped for a moment, studying the new pavement. The tingle along my back of my neck is back. Although almost as though some part of me knew this was coming and knows what's going to happen next too. Next me, Genzo half-heartedly kicks the pebble. Guess we're finally getting somewhere. Through the foliage veiling the upcoming bend, I spy a spattering of bright colors, too bright even for otherworldly trees. There's something there. I expend the energy for a short jog, taking me around the trees in front of what I can only describe as a gigantic billboard. I stop, take it in. I feel my brows curl in on themselves. Jesus! Genzo trots next to me, equally as stupefied. It's Gidget. Only larger than life and wearing very little clothing. Standing on her side, head propped up on her hand, holding a martini glass in the other. Next to her are the words, "Come visit Wonderland's hottest goddess" in bright purple print. I grind my teeth together, fist clenching. That's a side of Gidget I've never seen before. Genzo's brow reaches to the sky. What the fuck is this? It's a billboard, eggs. Oh, stop with the fucking jokes already. I mean, what is it doing here? And why is Gidget on it like some fucking porn star? I throw an exasperated hand in the direction of the board. You're asking me like I have any idea either, Genzo rolls his eyes. What is she even doing down here? Does she think this is some kind of game? Genzo rubs at his shoulder with a frown, but doesn't say anything. Not only is the sign pissing me off, it's also making me uncomfortable. I had to put up with enough sex being shoved in my face in my daily life. Now there's my good friend revealing much more than I ever wanted to see of her and making my stomach turn flip-flops. I moved my hands to my arms and uncomfortable prickles began turning up my arms' hair skyward. I shake my head and turn away, looking instead further up the path. It's bordered by other smaller placards that stick up and out of the ground like signposts. All of them sport Gidget in some gorgeous dresses, some of them bright summer assembles, some in ridiculous getups look like they come straight out of a fantasy or a horror movie. I see Genzo chewing his cheek. Guess that confirms Gidget's here. I huff. But then realize, if Gidget's here, the chances that all of them are here are much higher. In fact, Gidget might even know where he is. I start quickly down the Gidget-lined path. Jesus, wait! I hear Genzo yell before huffing footsteps rush behind me. This ain't the Boston Marathon, eggs. 20 placards later sees at the edges of a small village. I survey quaint little dark wood cottages and puffing chimneys of curving cobblestone roads, fine dappled walls. I remember this, though not as quite as clearly as the Kitty Cruise, more like an out-of-focus snapshots. For once, we're not the only ones here. People are milling about, walking in from building to building. But none of them so much as glance up to look around. I walk down the street with purpose, my gaze looking sharp as I take in the surroundings. Next to me, Genzo is adjusting his cap and huffs to keep on my forward pace. I run the next corner and stop. A crowd of people is gathered outside one of the ornate looking homes. There's a good 15 to 20 of them, though they whisper amongst themselves occasionally, their attention seems fixated on the door. Genzo probably rams into my back. God fucking... But I ignore him, because I know who's going to come out that door. I can already feel my jaw tighten. Oh, look who it is. Good morning, darlings! The door flings open to reveal Gidget, her hands raised above her head to greet the crowd. The previous quiet gathering erupts into cheers and applause. Thank you so much for seeing me off today. And there's you, can you believe it? Scouts here can't keep their eyes off me. She dances down the steps, crowd parting to allow her room. Immediately there's hands reaching out, thrusting papers and books for her to sign, trying to catch a passing touch of her arm or shoulder. We love you, Gidget. Marry me, Gidget. Gidget's mouth curls in an over-exaggerated frown as she waltzes through. Oh, I'm sorry, I'm in quite a rush today, she pauses, then smiles at a wink, though I suppose one or two autographs wouldn't hurt. The crowd goes wild, flinging their pens and photos and exposed skin at her with even more vengeance. Be first, Gidget. I'm your number one fan, Gidget. She turns towards the person standing nearest her, a teenage girl with a bouncy ponytail and decked out in pins and stickers, accessories, all featuring Gidget's name or face. The girl wrings her hands in excitement as Gidget signs her name in the autograph book. But by this point, I have had just about enough. I stomp straight towards through the crowd in that bouncing waterfall of blonde hair. Gidget! Gidget turns on to sound my voice. Before she can respond, my hands are on her wrist and I'm tugging her out and away from the crowd. The air turns instantly tense. I hear cries of anger and disappointment begin bubbling up from the crowd. Gidget flashes them a somewhat confused smile and waves her hand to calm them down, even as I continue pulling her away. It's alright, darlings. This is my friend. I'll be right back. Another tug, this one cutting her off, and I spin her towards me and bring my hands down to her shoulders. I stare at her. She stares at me. Her eyes blink at me in an abject stupor. Iggy, she finally says, almost nervously. You're here. I can't believe it. And with a tiny wince, is something wrong? What exactly do you think you're doing? What do you, mean? She chuckles with a quick glance back at her crowd of irate fans. This, I gesture towards her dress, the perfectly coiffed hair. This, then towards the crowd behind her, beyond. What are you doing down here? Why are you... I bring a hand on my forehead with a sigh. How long have you been down here? Gidget looks away with a guilty frown. I'm not really sure, to be honest. The days have all kind of run together. Her gaze jumps back to a cheery gleam. But I'm having so much fun. This place is so amazing, Iggy. Like, even better than when we were kids. I'm happier than I've ever been. Well, since as long as I can remember. A laugh. And now that you're here, things can only get better. She flashes a wink at me. I feel my gut twist in what could either be anger or discomfort. At this point, Genzo finally manages to push himself through the crowd next to us. He gives a little yelp as he twists away, nearly falling into the cobblestone in the process. God fucking damn, let a guy walk here! He scowls and smooths down his rumpled clothes. Ooh, you're here too, Genzo. Gidget smiles. Genzo looks up at us, at my grip on Gidget's shoulders. When he brings a finger to say something, I let her go and cross my arms in an annoyed huff. I see you've already given privilege of experiencing Iggy's newfound attitude. He does seem a little high-strung, Gidget laughs. Seems like someone could use a little Wonderland cheer of his own. Cheer? I squawk with hands of disbelief. We were almost killed! Gizzo taps his chin. He does have a point about that. Oh, come on, killed? I think you're over-exaggerating a little bit. Gidget raises a brow. This place is like a giant playground. There's nothing down here that would hurt a flea. Yeah, maybe not in the sheltered Garden of Eden you've created for yourself here, but have you tried stepping outside for just 1 second? I throw a finger back in the direction we came. You're warping this place into a nightmare. Gidget rolls her eyes, hands to her hips. Maybe it's your attitude. If you just try to enjoy yourself, maybe you'd have a little bit of fun. I bring my hands to my hair and frustrated grumble. I mean, I don't agree with everything she's saying, but I do have to admit that you need to chill out a bit, Eggs. Genzo raises a brow in weary concern. I've never seen you like this before. I start turning my gaze towards the sky as though it will provide me with some answer. But I don't finish. I can't finish. My throat feels so tight with anger that I can't seem to get the words out. So instead I grind my teeth together and jerk my head away. You know what? Fuck this. I'm gonna go get a drink, I say before stomping off in the direction of the inn. You go do that then. I'm going to give a fantastic shoot down by the pier. Gidget shouts towards me, then turns away with a huff of her own, blonde hair fluttering behind her. Gidget must find himself at a loss because he watches for a moment. Me for a moment, watches Gidget, then gives a little wince and jogs off after Gidget. Good. I just want to be alone for a little while. I don't need any of them. Like, damn, like, Iggy is so angry today. I'm not sure how long I sit at the inn drinking. An hour, 2 hours. I start with a beer, but after I realize how full it's making me, I switch over to whiskey. The woman behind the counter just keeps drinking more until no. I'm not a heavy drinker. In fact, I wouldn't even call myself a drinker. I like the occasional beer with friends, and sometimes when I'm in the mood, I'll buy myself a bottle of wine and have myself a little movie night. But I'm not normally one who enjoys that feeling of losing themselves to the drink. Now, however, something about the anger and frustration dancing around my belly is making me crave it. That feeling of disconnect that grows with each passing drink. What's wrong with them? All of them. Why are they acting like this is some sort of game? All they ever think about is themselves. They don't care who they end up hurting along the way. I don't want your attention. I don't want your protection. I can take care of myself. Maybe if they'd given me a fraction of the unwanted attention they've always showed on me to Orlum, none of this would have happened. Fuck. Orlum. I completely forgot to ask Gidget if Gidget had seen him. Oh well. They'll be back here soon enough. No doubt that Fred dote on me some more. I down another shot of whiskey, feel it burn its way down my throat. The heat is throbbing in my chest, and already everything has a slightly fuzzy, lethargic feel to it. Hey, Iggy? I don't even have to turn around and know who it is. It's suspiciously confirmed when I find Gidget and Genzo staring at me in concern. There's a weird kind of pity in their eyes. Come on, Eggs. Why don't you come join us over the table over there, huh? Gizzo motions towards the empty table near the far wall. Oh, I see what this is. I sniff, moving my nose. Gonna have an intervention or some shit? You're so sweet. I sat on my stool with a slight stumble. Both of them jerked forward to catch my fall. I scowl and yank myself away, waiting until they pull back before meandering towards the table in question. I slumped in the nearest chair. Eggs. Gizzo sits down across from me, clasps his hands. He looks nervous. Is everything okay? You're not acting like yourself, Iggy. Gidget this time. Like myself? What does that even mean? I rest my chin in my hand. You mean not going along with your little game of dress up? Maybe I don't want you dragging me around like some doll, huh? What are you? That's not even... Gija's face goes red. And you, I turn to Genzo this time, who sits back with a little start. Maybe I don't want to go along with all your little smartass comments anymore. Maybe I think you were an asshole all these years. Genzo's eye twitches, he looks away, looks back, looks at the table. Which reminds me, I was actually meaning to ask, I continue turning back to Gidget. You haven't seen Orlum around, have you? Oh fuck, I should have noticed about that fucker. Genzo jolts to his feet and is coming down on the table. It's Orlum this and Orlum that with you, isn't it? That little weasel doesn't deserve half the energy you're putting in freaking out about him. I stand up to match him, enjoy the height advantage I have over him. Says the one who made him the way he is. What the hell did he ever do to you, huh? Genzo's face goes red, redder than I've ever seen it. He bites down on his lip, tears of frustration glimmering in the corners of his eyes. Maybe I don't need to tell you, huh? That shit's between me and him. Just know that the little fucker has ways of getting exactly what he wants. And if you... Guys! Gidget's voice cuts him off right before her arms come between us. Just calm down, okay? Everyone's staring at us. I throw a glance at the end and met with wide-eyed stares of the majority of the patrons. My face grows incredibly warm and I drop quickly to my seat, tendrils of sweat weaving down the nape of my neck. Genzo follows suit. He tugs at the collar of his jacket and wipes his forehead. Thank you. She just sighs and takes her own seat, fingers laced together at the top of the table. Fuck, I need a smoke. See Genzo's fingers shaking as he pulls out a carton of cigarettes and puts them between his lips. I'll be right back. Then he shoves his chair back and heads for the door. Gidget and I watch him leave in awkward silence hanging over the table. Anyway, she curls a lock of hair behind her ear, all of a sudden acting shy. You wanted to know about Orlum? He's here. This brings the first light of hope into my heart since stepping foot in this godforsaken place. He is? Oh, thank fucking God. I lean forward and grab Gidget's hands at a move that must completely take her back, which makes my eyes shoot wide open. Fuck, you don't know how worried I've been about him since yesterday. And he's, like, alright and everything. He's doing okay? Gidget glances down between her grip of her hands and close proximity to her face. Her cheeks go pink. Is he okay? I chuckle. Iggy, he's, like, in charge of everything. To be honest, I'm surprised you don't know yet. In charge of? This brings me pause. I release my grip on Gidget to sit back in my chair, blinking. Yeah, he lives in this huge castle just across the lake. Actually, I've been up there a few times. Amazing dinner parties, dancing, you name it. She brings a hand to her chest with an awkward laugh. No, I haven't been up there in a little while now since last time he tried to get me to sleep with him. I mean, that's awkward enough already, but also all the other women I've talked to at those parties say he's into... Her gaze drops again. Finally, she looks back up. Butt stuff. That's gross. Aren't most guys? Not really sure how this would affect anything, but... I mean... although, considering how nervous Gidget seems, I guess I can understand. A grimace. That's pretty gross. Right? He shouldn't be pushing himself onto you like that. Besides, he shouldn't be, you know, pushing himself onto you like that. That statement somehow stops her in her tracks. She just looks at me for a moment. Then she just turns her gaze away, chinks peak. Peak's pink. I can't read. I guess not. Yeah. It was, pretty uncomfortable. Then she laughs. If only you'd been there, huh? You could have told him off. I'm not I'm not quite sure how to take a response, so I simply bring my hand to my head, sheepishly. Um, I guess I could have, yeah. Yeah, but anyway, you guys should still go check it out. I'm sure he'd invite you to one of his parties. A pause. Well, I guess I'm not so sure about him. She throws a nervous glance at the door. Seems like there's some stuff going on between them. Tell me about it. Throwing a hand to my hair. I'm not sure. I'm not sure if it was the argument or the embarrassment, or just general awkwardness in this whole situation. But the comforting low of the alcohol has already started to wear off, leaving nothing but exhaustion in its wake. And now that I know Orlum is okay, so the anger has also begun to recede. I scratch it in my neck, sweat soaking the grooves of my under my fingernails. Sorry, for snapping, I guess. I was just what? I don't even know, to be honest. I've been more overcome with so much anger. Anger I couldn't control. I throw a glance around. It's this place. Ever since I woke up here, I felt weird. Like all my emotions are heightened. I need to be careful. If even someone as easygoing as me could get lost in a little spark of anger like that, I can't even imagine what real fury could turn into. Or any other extreme emotion for that matter. Almost as if on cue, I feel a touch of skin on my hand. I jerk my head up to see Gidget's fingers curling softly on my wrist. It's okay. Everyone's worked up. I understand. A smile. To be honest, I'm really happy to see you here, Iggy. I, I've been thinking about you a lot while I've been down here. I blinked and pressed my lips together. You have? I mean, I guess I have a lot of time to think. A laugh. Her face softens. About my life, about the things I want. That's fortunately at the moment Genzo returns. His face has settled on this into the sallow sort of gray. His eyes look dark and slightly pink on the edges. Sorry it took so long. He stops, however, when his gaze lands on the table, more specifically on Gidget's hand on mine. Oh. He looks up and away towards the ceiling. His eyes tighten, making his face look, if it's even possible at this point, even more despondent. Shit, sorry. I pull my hand back, sticking it between my legs as though wanting to hide it away. It's nothing, we were just talking. Pause. Gidget, said that Orlum is here. Oh? Yeah, I guess I'll, maybe try to go see him tomorrow. I see. It grows quiet again. So I cough and put my glasses up to my nose. Maybe for now we can call it a night, though. I don't know about you guys, but I'm exhausted. Yeah, I'm pretty beat, too. That's not a bad idea. Gidget brings his hat off, scratches his scalp. After a few more moments, we both turn to look at Gidget. She stares back blankly, then jumps. Oh, right, of course. They got rooms here so you can both stay in. Come on, let me just go ask Mrs. Graham. She stands up and begins making her way towards the back counter, Genzo and I shuffling along behind. Mrs. Graham, my friends were wondering if they could have some rooms for the night. Of course, dear. Anything for our local goddess, the older woman says, waiting before procuring 2 sets of keys. Gidget just blushes. Thank you so much. Then turns to us. Here you go. The rooms are upstairs. You can find your room number on the key. I grab my key from Gidget. Thanks. This is really great. See you in the morning then? She nods with a smile. And I don't miss her gaze go pointedly towards the etched in numbers on the top of my key as it passes her hands. I palm it quickly. Yeah, thanks. Genzo takes his. Then both of us go trudging our way up the steps, coming out of the landing into a quiet hallway lined with doors. We reach Genzo's first. He turns towards it with a sigh. I chew on the inside of my cheek. Hey, I'm sorry about downstairs, I finally say. It's okay. He doesn't even turn to look at me, instead focusing on getting the shaky tip of the key into the lock. I watch him for a moment, then turn away once he gets it in and clicks it open. Anyway, good night. I murmur as I start down the hall. Iggs, about me and Orlum. I stop, turn, see him staring at the wood paneling in the door. When he's finally glancing towards me, his eyes are tight. He shakes his head, looks away. Never mind. Get some sleep. I watch him push open the door and step inside. You too. He shuts the door shuts with a click. I sigh. Then carry on to my own room, just a few doors down the hall. When I twist the key in the lock and push open the door, I find myself in a cozy room outfitted with a bed, wardrobe, and desk. I step inside. Quiet. It's wonderfully quiet. I'm finally alone. I hadn't realized quite how much I needed this until right this moment. I could practically feel my chest unclench itself, muscle by muscle, as I let out the longest breath of my life. I meander towards the bed. It's decorated with a thick red quilt and crowned at the top by two fluffy-looking pillows. I sit down and feel the mattress curve delightfully beneath me, then take the opportunity to examine the room. The walls have been built with thick, rounded logs. It reminds me of the old cabin I stayed in during camp one summer. Rustic. My body's still relishing in the quiet. I kick off my shoes and swing my legs up onto the bed. God, it feels good to get off my feet. I let my eyes wander towards the ceiling and the white swaths of nothingness that I wish my brain would get lost in. Tomorrow, tomorrow I'll finally be able to see Orlum, to ascertain with my own eyes that he is okay. In fact, okay. The thought brings me some peace. As crazy as things are around here, at least I can latch onto that. He's like in charge of everything. I curl my top lip upwards, stretching my toes inside my socks. Orlum in charge of everything? It's a strange thought for sure. It's hard for me to imagine mousy Orlum bossing anyone around, let alone everyone. And yet, I'm kind of glad for him. He deserves a chance to call the shots for once, even if it can only be in a fantasy world like this. I brows furrow. Yeah, in a fantasy world like this. We still need to figure out what the fuck is even going on. Maybe he'll be able to help with that too. Maybe he even knows where Bucks is. Something tells me that she's the key to all this. It all started after that call from Hooner, after all. There's a knock at the door. I grimace, but somehow it's not like I didn't know it was coming. Swing back around reluctantly and slam my feet back in my shoes. Coming. I shuffle towards the door, fumble with the doorknob, pull it open. Ginger shy smile greets me on the other side. Hey, I say. Hey, she says back. Sorry, I mean, is it okay? We kind of got interrupted earlier, and I just wanted to talk. I wince, but I don't really feel like I can turn her away at this point. She walks in the middle of the room and looks around. These rooms are nice, yeah? I stayed in one of my first couple of nights here, before everyone prepared that place for me in town. Yeah, it's nice. I stand in the doorway, unsure what to do, and finally slam my way towards the bed. I push myself on the edge, expecting her to take the chair in front of the desk. She sits next to me on the bed instead. I don't move. My face feels like it's frozen in place. You're leaving tomorrow then? She asks softly, gaze centered on my lap. It's well, I guess I'd like to check on Orlum, for personal reasons. I shift my leg, lean my elbows on my knees. You seem really worried about him. Do I? I mean, it's not any more than normal, really. I scratch my cheek. He seems to be doing really well for himself down here, so I don't think there's anything to worry about. Then again, he has always been a little different. She laughs at this. Kind of the odd one out, you know? Pause. To be honest, he's always kind of weirded me out. The way he just follow us around like a little mouse all through school, making weird comments. And that ugly rat tail. Okay, but the rat tail is kind of cute. I mean, hey, I'll be one to admit the rat tail is adorable. I turn the inside of my cheek, feeling those uncomfortable twinges of guilt begin rising up in my belly. Okay, but the rat tail has a lot of character, you know? And it's admittedly kind of cute. Cute? Oh, please, Iggy. The 80s called and wants its hairstyle back. Sorry, but to me it just screams greasy slime ball. To be honest, it's no wonder he's never had a girlfriend. He might as well have girl repellent hanging from the back of his head. I simply look at her a moment, blinking. Damn, I never realized it was such a source of vitriol before. Well, I never found anything particularly attractive myself. I don't find it, well, much of anything attractive. So maybe I'm not the best judge. Still, some part of me perhaps always wondered what it'd be like to run my fingers through it. This stuff brings a flush to my cheeks. Fuck, that's a bit weird, isn't it? To want to run my fingers through another guy's hair? I bring my hand down to my own hair as though it would somehow hide my embarrassment. Gija, however, must take this as a sign of disapproval, and I see her own face fall. But I mean, I do know he's gone through a lot. I remember when his mom. Yeah. Silence returns. Gija brings her hands up, presses her thumbs together. Anyway, I meant when I said downstairs. I really have been thinking a lot about a lot of things. Pause. Maybe it's because of this place. There's not really a lot to worry about down here, you know? So I feel like my mind's been a bit clearer. I rub my wrist, gaze lifting from the floor to the center somewhere around Gage's knees. Also, like, finally getting something I've wanted for so long, how happy it's made me, kind of makes you think about the other things you've been wanting, you know? I don't respond at first. When Gage glances up, I give a little grunt. Hmm. She smiles. Seeing you here finally, it's made me really happy. And then downstairs, when you held my hand so tightly, I couldn't help but think that you too. She brings a hand to her cheek, face red. Iggy, she swallows, takes a deep breath, seems to be guarding herself. Then brushes the straps of her dress off her shoulders and slides the fabric down towards her belly. My eyes grow about 5 times their size. Honestly, Iggy's face here could just be an emote in a Discord server. Just make this an emote. She just seems horrifically embarrassed. Her face and neck have turned bright red. At first, she can't seem to stop wanting to hide herself with her arms, but finally she lets her arms fall and bring her entire upper half. Gidget, I choke. My own face is probably the same color. I don't like them very much, but I thought you might, so I don't. You don't. You really don't have to do that. I eke out, bringing my hand up to my eyes, half shielding them. My whole body is gone tense, a cold chill working its way up my spine, making my skin crawl. It's okay. I want to, Iggy. I see her smile, pull her legs up to the bed, turn towards me. I, I want you to see me, Iggy. I want to make you happy. Fuck. I bite down my tongue so hard I could taste blood. I'm starting to shiver. Uncontrollable quakes shoot up and down my arms and legs. All of this, I did all this for you. What? Why? I finally managed to croak. Still trying to do my best not to not not really look at her, but also not completely look away. Is that not to be rude? Gidget pauses for a moment, a look of confusion crossing her face. Then she smiles shyly. Because I like you very much, Icky, and I've always hoped that maybe you like me too. Her cheeks go even redder. I'm sorry if it's a little forward, but I thought since you were leaving tomorrow. Pause. Then she seems to get flustered. But you don't need to give me an answer right away. I know you need your time to think and all. She called forward, one hand to my side, and the other goes to my shoulders. But maybe tonight we could I could take care of you. Then leans in, her lips going to the side of my cheek. You'd like that, wouldn't you? The touch sends the cold needles all the way up my shoulder, chest cinching tight the knot to my stomach. I feel my throat constrict with the forces of undignifiable gasp of air hissing between my teeth. Gidget, could you please put your clothes back on? I say with a shudder. Gidget stops, pulls back, blinks. I'm offering you no strings attached sex. You do realize that, don't you? I realize that very well, thank you, and I appreciate the sentiment, but I don't really it's just I'm really fumbling. My whole back feels like it must be coated with sweat, and my fingers shake as I run them across my clammy forehead. She just stares at me for a moment. Her eyes narrow. Uh, you think I'm disgusting, don't you? I knew it. I see her brows furrow as her top lip begins to tremble. What? I squawk. I never said. How could you, Iggy? She brings her hands to her head, clutching at her hair. Everything! I did everything for you, Iggy! My heart shudders in my chest, and the spark from earlier returns. What are you even talking about? She's barely listening. It says she's tugging at her hair, pulling at it, yanking until two giant handfuls snap away between her fingers. This stupid hair, I hate it. Stupid dress. And then she grabs at the full fabric slumped around her belly and begins pulling at it. I hate it. Gidget, stop. I reach forward to stop her from ripping the fabric apart. But this just seems to incite her tirade further. And I hate these stupid fat lumps. She grabs her chest, fingers forging divots at her soft skin. But I thought you would, Iggy. You of all people. I gave up everything for you. I wanted to be perfect for you. Something inside me snaps. Who asked you to do that, huh? Because I sure as hell didn't. I pointed my finger right up to her face, unable to stop, unable to keep the words from tumbling out of my mouth. I don't want any of this. I don't want sex. I don't want people throwing themselves at me. I don't want people expecting things of me. I don't want you. Gidget's face goes white, then red, and purple. She opens her mouth, then screams. It's so loud and shrill that I have to clamp my hands to my ears to stop my head from ringing. She screams and screams and screams, and then she grabs the lamp off the table and throws it straight at my head. I hate you! It hits me with square in the crown, and for a second it feels like a knife is steering its way into my brain. White huff starts to flash across my face, and at the point of impact pulses up and down my skull. Fuck! I shout, my eyes quickly filling up with tears. I start reaching for it again, clawing it like a spider across the mattress and towards the tinted lamp. But through my wall vision, I managed to kick it away, sending it flying across the room, cracking against the far wall. That's my chance. I go scrambling out the bed, one hand clutching at the back of my head, race for the door. The bed groans as Gidget flies off, and then I hear her footsteps clattering, the sound of the desk drawer being opened, but I pay it no heed. All I focused on during my pulsing vision is the door. Get out, get out, get out, get out, get out, get out! I accelerated so fast I ran my shoulder to the wooden paneling, which takes the air out of me again. Then I'm fumbling with the knob, my fingers like clumsy sausages. Turn around and check out Gidget. Only to find myself thrown back against the door. She's there. She's here. All of it happened so fast. So fast I didn't register the pain. I glanced downwards to my right shoulder. A large pair of scissors sunk deep into the handle of my armpit. Gidget's fingers curled so tightly around them, her whole hand is shaking. I hate to be that person, Iggy, but that's your left, not your right. Shit. A deep red puddle is forming across my shirt, oozing out like a scarlet pit stain. Gidget. So I snap her out of it because her eyes go suddenly clear. She steps back, laying the scissors. Then go the scissors, just staring at me. Staring at the bloody handle of scissors filming in the air. Iggy, she said softly. As I gave edges in the moment, I reached across and yanked her scissors out of me. I stabbed them straight into her neck. Oh, oh, Jesus! I honestly don't like neck. Again, like neck things in horror, getting like stabbed or gripped in the neck. Just no. Oh, I don't like it. Oh, she gurgles, coughs. Her hand goes to her throat. She pulls out the blades, laying loose a waterfall of blood. She drops the scissors and limps back towards the center of the room, gagging, choking, coughing. Both hands to her neck, trying to stop the deluge of blood. She drops to her knees, falls to her back, eyes bulging, pleading at the ceiling, is shaking and twitching. Her throat rattles and retches as though she's trying to say something. All the while, the puddle of blood beneath her grows. I wander over, pick up the scissors off the ground, kneeling down next to her. It's strangely calm. Staring at her. I barely even feel the pain in my shoulder. All my muscles aren't shaking anymore. In fact, I'm perfectly still. Gidget's eyes turn towards me. I can see the veins bulging. Her mouth's somehow inaudible. Don't finish her off? Oh my god. Yeah, this game gets exceptionally dark. I feel like if we don't finish her off, she's going to kill me. I mean, do we really have a choice in this matter? I mean, yeah, we kind of have to finish her off. I don't know. Maybe I'll come back for the because like I actually did see in the Steam version here there actually is a achievement for getting all the CGs, including all the death ones. So I might go back for those afterwards after this playthrough. Finish her off. There's really there's really nothing we could do right here. I left the scissors into the air and plunged them into her chest. The blades snapped in nicely, like sticking a knife in the pumpkin into a pumpkin for carving. A red stain quickly spreads out and away from the hole, turning her white dress to a dark crimson. She's not moving now, only small twitches. The hands pressed against her throat have gone limp, allowing the blood to escape freely from the hole in her neck. I pull the scissors back out with a sick squelch, stabbing it again. Blood splatters up and onto my hand, my wrist. Not even small twitches have stopped. Completely still. I blink. I let my hand fall away. Revolts of my own blood decorate the other side of my arm, mixing with the spray left from Gidget. It's a strange feeling. The room is so quiet now. So quiet I'm not even sure I'm breathing. Then clunky footsteps outside racing towards the door. It slams open. What the fuck? Genzo standing at the doorway, staring at us. I look towards him calmly, blood speckled in my hands, my wrists dark and glistening on my shirt. We had an argument, I say when Genzo remains silent. You Genzo winces, brings a hand steady to his sweaty face. Before either one of us can do anything else, sound of commotion downstairs interrupts our standoff. What now? Genzo groans and darts back outside. He's there a few moments, then his eyes widen. He comes running back inside, slamming the door shut behind him. We got big fucking trouble on our hands, Iggy. Before he manages to slam the door closed, I catch a glimpse of a person. I think you call the person. Their skin is gaunt and gray, and their eyes are puffy and red. They claw at the door. I hear low moans as the door shakes and rattles beneath their nails. Get up! Get up! Gizzo grabs me by the collar and pulls me to my feet. The eyes are red puddle in the middle of the shirt. How bad is it? I yank the front of my collar down, trying to get a better look. One hand roving inside, gingerly poke at the flayed skin. I think it's pretty deep. Stop! Gizzo holds a hand up to stop me from my self-examination. The other in his mouth, his face goes slightly green. Ashley's on a stud against the door and makes us both jump, and Gizzo begins cursing beneath his breath. Fuck, think. He hits his fist against his forehead. Watch for a moment, blinking. Then wander towards Gidget, bending down and snatch the scissors from her chest. Don't worry, I'll take care of them. I start for the door. Sound Gizzo makes would have been hilarious in our situation, like a strangled half-gasp has squawk. He leaps towards me, engulfing me, my wrist in his palm and jerking me backwards. The fuck you will, he hisses. I'm sure as hell not gonna watch you get ripped apart by those things. Well, somebody's gotta do something, and I'm getting a little bit tired of you thinking I need to be protected like some cowering rabbit. Gizzo's face twists. That must have hurt. But I don't care. I'm getting sick of it. I turn back towards the door, only for it to come flying off with a horrifying slam that sends the door backwards and bounce out the wall. Bodies come pouring in. So many of them. They crawl and lurch and moan like zombies, all of them with skin pulled taut across their bones and eyes sunken pink. A whole pile of them spills over and through the doorway as they clutch and crawl over each other to get inside the room. Fuck, I hear Genzo screech next to me. I have to admit, even my own eyes bug out of the sheer number of bodies reaching and groping for us. I readjust my grip on the scissors, raise them hesitantly in the air. I forget to promptly knee me right in the gut. The air goes out of me like a deflating balloon, and in that motion of limp helplessness, he grasps me right around the middle and goes charging out the window. That's all I can do to cover my eyes before the gut-rattling impact of my backside. Glass goes flying, splinters of wood go sailing, and two of us go tumbling through the shattered window pane and slam awning below. The combination of the impact and weight must be too much for it, as a nanosecond later, the whole thing buckles beneath us, and we go clattering to the ground with a shower of boards and shingles. I lay there for a moment, waiting for my ears to stop ringing and my body to stop screaming. Then push myself to my feet, to avoid any errant nails or broken wood. Genzo groans next to me, and he notices his shoulder as he sits up. Fuck my life. What the fuck was that? I half grumble, half moan, in an attempt to push myself shakily on my feet. Fucking saving your life was what that was, though apparently I should have just left you there to get eaten alive, huh? Genzo lurches to his feet next to me with a wince. I take a menacing step forward, index finger ready to ramrod straight, but the sound of the groans from above me is enough to stop my angry tirade before it even begins. I glance to see Gidget's rabid fans reaching and groping out through the window. Some of them are already attempting to pull themselves out after us. The situation is not much better on the ground. More gaunt faces appear around the corners of nearby buildings, limping and dragging themselves across the once cheery cobbles. God damn it, I hiss. Fuck. Genzo brings his hand to his head, gaze jumping furtively across the surroundings. His eyes sharpen. Come on, I have an idea. He takes off. I yelp at the sound of a body falling behind us, then quickly follow. Not sure where we're going at first. We're around the corner and Genzo jerks backwards as they approach when there are a swarm of clawing and reaching hands. Other way! I quickly reroute in the opposite direction, circling around a set of buildings, just narrowly avoiding the convergence of two more packs. Then straight on, back to the main street. Groans, moans, guttural screeches filling the air around us. Where are we going? I try to think back to earlier, when I left Gidget and Genzo on the street and started my bout of binge drinking. Gidget had gone, then it comes to me. I'm not even sure how, but somehow bubbling up recesses in my brain as the expansive pier filled with bobbing boats and horizon water. It flashes, so many flashes, cameras everywhere. I shake my head. We're going to the pier. No sooner had this thought crossed my mind that we round another bend and water appears. The blue one! Genzo shouts, pointing somewhere towards the left. Breezes fans are everywhere now, spilling out of alleyways, falling from windows as splat against the ground. All of them lurching and reaching, bones creaking, eyes oozing. We race to the edge and see a little blue sloop Genzo was referring to, a sail fluttering the breeze. In! I don't even stop. I take a flying leap off the side of the pier and land in one of the boat's seats, so hard I swear I lose consciousness for half a second. Genzo is right behind me, the boat sloshing in the water as it comes tumbling towards. Hand to my head, I push myself back up, and wait until my double vision recedes so I can actually make out a pier, the body swarming in our way. Then the same way the camera flashes that invaded my mind earlier, another image overtakes my mind. I shoot a gaze towards the rope Tina's tied to the dock. Genzo, the rope! I try to walk forward, dizzy wobbling. I got it! Genzo latches onto it, yanking, clawing at it, jerking tugs and sends shutters to the boat's frame. But I know it's no use. Nothing it does is going to get the rope undone. Reach behind me and find scissors sticking out of my back pocket. I remember putting them there, but something inside of me must have known I needed them.
Self-voicing.
Oh, whoops.
Self-voicing disabled.
I forgot that self-voicing was a thing. I pressed V by mistake. Whoops. I whipped them out and started towards the rope, snapping the blades down around the fibers. Cut, damn it! But my fingers and muscles ache and shake. I can't even find enough strength to apply the necessary force, even as I chop and twist. Shit. We're getting closer. Almost to the water now. Like a hungry wave is spilling over the edge of a bucket. Shit. As Genzo's hand comes down around mine, encasing them like a baseball glove, pressing. I wince as the handles of the scissors bite into my palms and fingers. But the additional force seems to be working, as first one fiber snaps, then another. One whip-like lash. The blade chops through the last remaining side noose, sending the ends of the rope flying. And two of us are careening backwards so hard into the boat side of the boat. I felt a whoosh of air escape from my lungs upon impact, though I avoid the brunt of the hit thanks to Genzo's shoulder. The boat rocks, bobs. Then begins drifting away from the dock. I see the things gathering on the pier, reaching and moaning at us, but there's nothing else they could do. We're already too far away. Thank fucking God. I glance down. Genzo's arms are tight around me. I can feel his face pressing to my back. I jerk away. Now that we're no longer running for our lives, the anger has rekindled itself in my belly. I could have handled that myself, I snap. Genzo blinks for a moment, then his eyes narrow. Wow, sorry for trying to make sure we don't get killed. He notices his shoulder when it wins, his face tired. Well, it fucking hurt. I put my hands out, revealing the deep red grooves decorating my palms. Here's eyes wide in disbelief. Would you have preferred to get your hands eaten off? What in the actual fuck is wrong with you, eggs? Maybe I'm just sick and tired of you pushing your way in where you're not wanted. You ever thought of that? And then because I've apparently lost the ability to stop myself at this point, and you're always touching me. Does touching me get you off? Is that it? Guess those people who go pinprick sized. His face turns red. Oh, that is fucking it. He pounces. We both go down. He lands a nice shiner right on my chin that makes my head spin. I respond with a punch of my own right across his eye. His hands find my throat as mine find his hair. We both go rolling. First he's on top, then me. He lands a knee right in my crotch that brings tears to my eyes. I follow up by wrenching his hair back so hard a solid handful of it comes off my hands. This takes him out of commission long enough to be able to clamber back on top. I reel my fist back, teeth clenched. Fine, I like you, okay? I stop. Stare down at him. He's not looking at me anymore. Instead, his gaze is pointed guiltily towards the side, his eyes bristling with tears. I feel my fist unclench. And maybe I like touching. I do like touching you. Fuck, he winces. But I've never thought or expected you would like me back. I just don't want to see you get hurt. He bites down on his lip, eyes tight. We just lie there, not saying anything. Genzo still refused to look at me. Finally, I let my fist fall. Why? Why does this always have to happen? Sorry, I just really fucked things up, didn't I? Genzo laughs, but I can hear the crackle of phlegm in his throat. I sit back and rub my face. My insides are twisting uncomfortably. Maybe another time. Maybe if I had time to process everything, had time to work through my own feelings, I might have felt differently. But right now, everything's coming too fast. Too all at once. First Gidget, now Genzo. There's too much pressure. Even here in this boat, with the wide night sky stretching out above us, I can feel the walls closing in. I just want to be alone. I crawl away towards the far end of the boat and wrap my arms around my knees. I need some time myself, okay? Yeah, sure. I hear Genzo's voice catch. I bury my face in my knees and close my eyes, shutting everything out. There's a lot going on, isn't there? Honestly, we flew across the water all night. We don't talk, and eventually I curl up my head, a pile of rigging, hugging my arms to my chest and ward off the chill. Alright. I think this is actually a good time for us to stop right here for now. So, thank you guys so much for watching. Be sure to leave a like, comment what you think, share this video with your friends, and be sure to subscribe and click the bell so you don't miss a single notification. And I'll see all of you in the next video. Goodbye! With